She put a pot on she hair and gone. Them a the first one out on the dam. Basket on she head, bucket in each hand, hold up on she frock. I wanna she grandson to the market. Them a go. For their morning, the day is dawning. For Cockacrow to give the villagers a warning. Rise and shine, the birds them a sing. All animal take turn as them join in the waking. Cockacrow, dagaba, donkey, bray, horse, and they even duck a quack. Cockacrow, dagaba, donkey, bray, horse, and they even duck a quack. Come and hear this sweet story that tell the people about life in the country. All day a back down, me now I come home. The naga jackass yard to fetch the load. Cockle shy hand, bag over shoulder, running by his side, a Rexy and Rover. From the farm, them a come. Sun a go down, but up the river. Some washing clothes, some folks are bathing at the water. Fisherman, they catch them a bring. From a canoe boat, man, them start offloading. Aymara, Kwakwari, Gale Baka Kuma Kuma, even Lokonani. Aymara, Kwakwari, Gale Baka Kuma Kuma, even Bangameri. Listen to this sweet story that tell the people about life in the country. Them children glad when the weekend come. Out in the yard, them all gather round. Some a play catcher, some making house from straw. Two who come later, a grandma or grandpa. All a sit down just a wait. Moonlight so bright, it's just the right time to listen story or to say a little nursery rhyme. Grandpa voice a echo in the night as he tell some picnic are there with fright. Oh,
this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
Yeah, my name is Jacinty Caldata Francis Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my ex next to the cop. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to...
Are you confident that you're going to deliver credible and fair elections?
Of course. Only one way I know, and that is the correct way.
Yeah, this is the elite team, the root team. Strong.
Basement level vibes with another one, straight up blackness. Aye. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Rensken, stop a do it for the love. Him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, NSCAP stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny.
All right, hey, guess what? 13 minutes after 9 o'clock, I'm late. Blame it on the minibus driver. We just have to hop in a minibus and just head straight on and do whatever we have to do. All right, for those of you who are in beautiful Guyana, and this is Andrew's Supermarket. Andrew's Supermarket. Tonight's program comes to you with the kind compliments. Hey, we're moving up, guys, but the kind compliments of Andrew's Supermarket. Go on down there and support Andrew's Supermarket. Guess what else? It's coming to you with the kind compliments of Shellon Washington's law firm. That's in 455 Utica Avenue, Brooklyn. We get folks coming on board, and we appreciate that. Shellon Washington's law firm. We have Andrew's Supermarket. And we're going to give a plug to this is what's happening in Georgetown Sunday. Go out there, wear something green, eat something green, whatever it is, even if you have red Q-Tex, red lipstick. I'm sorry, green. Are you guys gonna give me the donkey tonight, right? Look at that. Look at what just happened there, guys, right? All right, let's start right over again. Go out there on Sunday evening and green lipstick, green Q-Tex, green eyebrows, green hair, whatever it is, green mango. You know what I mean? Just wear something green and head on out there. Jump in a green taxi, whatever it is. Sunday it is going to be huge. Right? Afraz Osman, smoke something green. All right, again, good evening to all of you. Sunday, Georgetown Motorcade. It's going to be a public meeting. Sunday, July 16th. Assemble point is Congress Place. Go into Congress Place. I hope they weed up and clean up the yard and paint up and everything, so that when you guys go into Congress Place, and here what's going to happen. This is just my suggestion. Just my suggestion. When all of you go into Congress Place on Sunday, don't just go into Congress Place, walk in Congress Place and with your kerchief in your back pocket or whatever it is. Give them $100. Give them $50. Give them $20. Guyana dollars, that is. Give them $200, whatever you can afford. And say to them, I want you guys to paint the fence. I want you guys to paint one of Congress Place buildings, maybe in Plaisance. Paint it up. Make it look good. Maybe in Linden, buy some flags. Put it up. Something. Give them a donation. 100 Guyana dollars. Whatever it is. Make that donation. But just make sure they write a nice book and they let you guys know how much was collected. Just give them a donation. You just need that. Good evening to all of you. Wayne Caesar, our executive producer, said that Mr. Wayne Caesar is going to be on with us. Notice we are not inviting people. We have an extended invitation. We are just basically going solo this week. We want to discuss whatever is on your mind as well. Good evening to all of you, every single one of you. I don't want to call your names because I don't want folks to get vexed, but you know how it is, right? So this Sunday, starting point, Congress Place. Starting point at Congress Place. And now while you guys share the link, and this is what's happening in the U.S. Congress and Senate. This is Senator Tuberville. Tuberville is holding up a lot of things, a lot of confirmation in the Senate. And a lot of times these guys come over as racist. They don't want to admit it. They come over as racist. And now there's no ERC over here to come after me and say, "Oh, you're violating some sort of law by calling some politician a racist." This guy is holding up, and since February of this year, he is holding up confirmation in the Senate. He is holding up military confirmation and so forth. And this is what a reporter asked Senator Tommy Tuberville, Republican of, where is he? Alabama, I believe, right? Yeah. So here's the question. The reporter, you mentioned the Biden administration trying to prevent white nationalists from being in the military. Do you believe they would allow white nationalists in the military? Tuberville now said, quote, "Well, they call them that, but I call them Americans." The white nationalists, the racist, this guy is saying he calls them American. And because of his personal belief, he is holding up over 700 plus confirmation, military confirmation. These guys, these guys don't disguise their antics. They don't disguise what they are. He's a former football coach, right? I can just imagine the black players on his team. I can just imagine, guys. And then he pedaled back on this, where he said he calls them Americans, the white nationalists. He calls them Americans. Others are not, right? So he backpedaled, and he a couple days ago said that they are racist. Okay, he finally said that they are racist. The white nationalists are racist. And so he's holding up all these confirmation hearings and confirmation and so forth in the Senate. Now, there's a reason why I brought this up. I brought this up because Sarah Ann Lynch had her farewell party not so long ago. But Sarah Ann's, her replacement has not been confirmed in the Senate. And the same reason this guy is holding up 650 confirmation. 650 plus confirmation in the Senate. Military men are being held at ransom as a result of that guy. Military men are being held at ransom. Just to understand what is happening now on the confirmation of ambassadors. Same reasoning, same thing behind that. They are not going out to confirm they have hijacked the entire system. Well, next year is presidential elections and other offices, I believe maybe the Senate or the Congress or something, they will have elections next year. And you want to move away from this sort of hijacking of the system. You've got to go out and vote in your numbers. If you don't do that, you are going to be wrecked. You are in every aspect, you will be wrecked. You already know how the Republicans are as it pertains to immigration and all these manner of things. And just imagine, and keep your fingers crossed that it doesn't happen, but just imagine that Donald Trump gets back in there, what's going to happen with the immigration reform and all these sort of things. So those of you who have been complacent over the years with your status, your immigration status, wake up. Wake up, guys. Wake up. You've got to go out and vote as well. Anyways, good evening to all of you. All of you beautiful people. What else is on the agenda that we can speak of? Our operator Lemon said, "Oh, we're having technical problems." We're not bothered about technical problems. We've got to do what we've got to do. So I don't want to bore you with this. You guys probably heard of this all day. Jagdeo, and thank you, Lemon. Jagdeo put this up on his. Sorry about that, but it is what it is. But Jagdeo put this up on his page. Notice, this is a guy who loves to talk so much. Talks and talks and talks. But he put this up on his page. Notice, due to reasons beyond our control, there will be no press conference by General Secretary Barajat there today. No press conference at all. They're not going to tell you that because he is, from what we've heard, he's sick. We already know that mentally he is sick. He is sick. He's a sick man. But they're not going to tell you anything about whether he has throat cancer, whether he has some sort of cancer or whatever. They're not going to come out and tell you that, or whether he cut his you guys can finish it for me. Whether he cut his or whatever. They're not going to tell you that he is ill and that he couldn't make the press conference because he's suffering from some sort of bumps disease or something of that sort. I don't know. But all they said was that he is, I see what you did there, Ann Nelson. You're trying to say that Barajaglia cut his, oh, Father, goody, Miss Goody, Miss Goody. But they pronounce it differently, though, you know. To say the word goody is not a crime. They have been after Aubrey Norton for a while, and they have been teasing Aubrey that Aubrey got rid of his two little sons and all manner of stupidity. That was the PPP's song. That was their national anthem. Picking on poor Aubrey Norton and whatever it is, the operation, allegedly. But look at what happened. Karma is really a B-E-A-C-H, you know. Look at what happened to this guy. He ended up cutting the same thing, apparently, allegedly. Cutting the same thing they laughed Aubrey about. And now look, he ended up cutting. So whenever you guys see him, call him, you know what kind of man? Goody man. All right, sorry. Well, you know we don't indulge in those sort of things here. But I must ask for your apologies. You know, I apologize to you guys. Pray for me sometimes. Pray for me. Things get a little out of hand. Sometimes, indeed, do pray for me. But I was kind of like smiling when I saw that he can't talk. He can't walk properly. He walks with a limp or bow legs or something like that now. And so they're not going to tell you. Somebody's saying hydro seeds. All right, fair enough, hydro seeds. Just imagine, I hope his supporters see what's going on here. Hydro seeds, also known as Godi. Rod Chammers, how are you? All of you guys, good evening. Good evening. Every single one of you. Shondell Griffith, good evening. What else is happening that we can talk about that you guys want us to talk about? Well, this part here, Coretta McDonald. Coretta McDonald is saying that, and this is according to the PPP propaganda news, and they said that they heard her say that evil people in our party, evil people, that's what she's saying, evil people in our party. PNC's Coretta McDonald lashes out at comrades. Evil people. She later said that, you know, she did say that, she didn't say that. And she, well, look, you know, these people got to stop with a little bit of arrogance. They got to stop with this sort of believe that they can become so powerful overnight. And now I didn't hear the tape, but I heard that it was something that she said, over at Belladrum or one of those areas there. And we cannot have these irresponsible statements at all. Whatever differences they have in the PNC, whatever those differences are. And don't think that other political parties don't have differences. They have serious bacchanal. But it's how you handle your bacchanal. And Coretta McDonald, if you believe that there is bacchanal within your party, then deal with that in a more sophisticated and professional manner. Bacchanal every day does the party and the party support base no good. Absolutely no good. And if Coretta McDonald indeed made this statement, then she needs to apologize. And I repeat, she needs to apologize to all of the party members. As simple as that. But of course, people deny and deny and deny. And now let's talk a little bit about Spanish. Irfan Ali jumped out of wherever he jumped out. These guys probably usually drunk, go to bed drunk with either alcohol or power, but they go to bed drunk, either way, drunk. And so the next morning that they awake, I don't know why, but they awake, anything that pops out of their heads, that's it. It becomes law, it becomes some order of the day, it becomes a policy, something of the sort. And so one night, Irfan Ali went to bed drunk, either with alcohol or power or whichever one he has to know. But he went to bed drunk, got up and decided now that all primary schools across Guyana should start speaking Spanish. They should start speaking Spanish. Buenos días, ¿cómo estás? Bien, gracias. ¿Y tú? ¿Cómo estás? Tu madre habla mucho español, tu padre habla español, mi hermano, mi hermana, mi abuelo, mi abuela. And they're going to start off and mi chica, mi chiquita, right? Mi chiquita, muy bonita. Mira, dana beso, right? If any one of you can tell me what dana beso means, I'll give you a beautiful, beautiful, maybe $13. Dana beso, ¿cómo está? Bien, gracias. All manner of things, right? This is just a mockery. And let me say, here is Wayne Caesar. Buenas noches, mi amigo.
Buenos días. Hi, Mark. How are you? Good evening. Buenos noches.
Días.
Yes, sorry.
Buenas noches. ¿Cómo está?
You're going too far now. Good evening.
Tú no hablas español. Tú no hablas español, mi amigo. Oh, tú no hablas español. ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué? Why? You don't speak Spanish, man. You guys speak Spanish. Irfan Ali wants everybody to speak Spanish. Come on. I was surprised. I thought he was going to say Hindi. Charlene Jordan. Gosh, you know a thing and two, girl. That'll best. So next week, this week is Spanish. Next week is Hindi. So when we introduce the show next week, you say, hey, bhai, aapke naam kya hai? Aapke naam kya hai, bhai? And then you say, hey, mera naam. Aapke naam kya hai means, what's your name? Mera naam Mark. Mera naam Wayne. All manner of things happening now in Guyana. And then the next week, they don't want no patwa though. French patwa and things. Sakpase, Kubotalivu, Sababien. And they don't want no French patwa because they do not like the Haitians. The corrupt PPP regime, they do not like the Haitians at all. And so they're not going to talk about French and patwa and so forth and so on. They want to talk Spanish because they have a lot of those Spanish girls in Guyana. And the truth of the matter is, and this is not insulting the Spanish girls in Guyana, but when they go out and so forth, they see the Spanish girl walk in, you know, they're tired saying, Mami, what's up, Mami? They want to talk Spanish because the Spanish girls say, mucho dinero. And they want to know how much they have to pay. They don't want to get robbed. Irfan Ali doesn't want to get robbed. So there's something sinister behind this compulsory Spanish thing. But getting to the Spanish situation, I recall as a young man growing up over 70-something years ago. I'm an old man now. Burnham's administration. How many of you old-timers? Colin Barnwell, a bunch of you old-timers here. June Griffith, all of y'all are old-timers. Roxanne Best, all of y'all are old-timers. Even Wayne Caesar. Now, Wayne is a young man, a little boy, right? Growing up, we had to learn Spanish. That was under Burnham. It was under the PNC. You go to school, they get a Spanish teacher. You got to learn Spanish. So what Irfan Ali is doing here now is nothing new, Wayne. Nothing new at all. But for 23 years, the PPP regime cut that out. They didn't give a damn about Spanish in classrooms. They didn't give a damn about any single thing. They cut it out. Spanish, French, you name it in school. But the PPP is basically run by a bunch of dunce thugs Irfan Ali, a dunce. Jack Dale, a dunce and a thug. These guys are dunce thugs. They don't care about education. But let me just give the Ben Sharp Foundation a thing here. In 2010, the Ben Sharp Foundation was giving free Spanish classes, free Portuguese classes for over 2+ years, free of charge. But now the installed PPP regime is going to spend hundreds of millions of dollars. I repeat, hundreds of millions of dollars for Spanish. For Spanish, hundreds of millions of dollars. So when they walk into Parliament now, guess what? All of them got to speak Spanish. Chris Jones got to speak Spanish. Aubrey Norton got to speak Spanish. I don't know how Priya is going to make it because Priya doesn't look like she can learn much. I don't know, man. Mr. Caesar, talk to us in Spanish, please.
I'm not going to try to do that tonight, Mark. Maybe next time on
What is your take? What is your take on this Spanish thing and Irfan?
Well, listen. It's like putting the horse before the carriage here. Putting the carriage before the horse, sorry. You know, there's so much more that needs to be done. Where are we going with Spanish now? And where are we going with, the PPP tends to be spending money in all the wrong places. Did the Guyanese people reach out to the PPP and indicated to them that they wanted to learn Spanish? And yes, I would agree that Spanish is a good language to know. Our neighbors are, in Venezuela, they're Spanish speaking people. A lot of them, currently living in Guyana. It's good for us to learn their language also. I'm totally in agreement with that. But there is so much other things that the Guyanese people need at the present moment that is more important than Spanish classes. I don't know what these guys are thinking. It's like they come up with the weirdest of things. The schools are closed now. They should be focusing on the schools, getting them painted, getting them inspected. Engineers should be at the schools right now, making sure that we have a proper security code in our schools. Because I would have understand there was a school in South Roundveld where the people were getting shocked in the building. That could cause a fire. Tugville, somewhere in that area, that could cause a fire. There's so many other important things that this government can be focusing on. There are single mothers out there who are struggling to raise children. Maybe they can open up the welfare system more to these people and give a lending hand to them. Instead of that, we are focused on Spanish. I'm not saying Spanish is not important, but children has to be well fed in order to go to school and learn Spanish. You can't send a hungry child to school to learn Spanish. Okay, and in Guyana, there's a lot of kids that are going to school, yes, their parents give them something to eat, but not fully satisfied. And some of them are damn hungry indeed. And this shouldn't be happening, Mark, in an oil producing nation. This should not be happening. So this government, I don't know exactly what they're looking at, but they need to get it right. And listen, look, market comes down to this. It's like sometimes I don't even want to talk about the government because it doesn't matter if they get it right. They have already done enough to the people. Okay, there's nothing that this government could correct at this point. There is nothing to correct. Absolutely nothing.
This is just a scam. It's a scam because they already know that they're going to bring in some Cubans. They're going to have some Guyanese, and somebody already has a package for about $1 billion. It's a package, and whoever is going to be responsible for that is connected directly to the PPPC regime. This Spanish stuff that they're talking about, we had this existing many years ago under the PNC, under Bornham and so forth, and it was free. Nobody had to import teachers from where? From Cuba to go to Guyana to teach Spanish. They have a lot of Guyanese who are fluent in Spanish or sufficiently they know a heck of a lot of Spanish, just like years ago, that can teach Spanish. You don't have to import Spanish teachers, and then they got to import nurses. Then what else are they going to import? I don't know what's happening there, but look, you can learn Spanish online for free.
You are here.
You are here. Learn it for free.
Tú
Where's
estás
that
aquí.
free? You are here. Learn it for free. Go online and so forth and so on. But no, the corrupt
How do you say, I want?
the corrupt PPP, the corrupt PPP
Bien hecho.
want,
Yo quiero.
they basically want to rob the Guyanese people, corrupt as they
How do
are.
you say?
And that is exactly what it is, Mr. Caesar. Do you recall learning Spanish back in your days?
Listen, Mark, it's a requirement here when you go to university. And yes, I paid a lot of attention to my Spanish courses, but if you ask me now about anything in those courses, I don't remember. I know that you had to pass them, and as an academic, I was interested in all my classes, so I really aced those two Spanish courses that I had to take. But if you ask me anything about it now, I can't remember anything about it. My focus was always accounting and finance. So
Got you. But I had to learn Spanish, man. Trust me, I had to, mira, muy bonita, mira, cuántos años dinero, those of you in the audience would know why, right? Mira, mami, tú muy bonita, then a beso, and so forth and so on. And so it is basically a fraud. Coming from ear fraud, it is a fraud. Coming from ear fraud. What is it that, look, today we learned, Mr. Caesar, that this guy who loves to talk so much, he canceled his press conference. We're hearing that he has throat cancer. We're hearing that he got hernia surgery. He cut off some toe. Lots of things we were hearing, that he was rushed to the hospital after vomiting, throwing up, and bleeding from his rear. What is your take now on the PPP shutting the real news behind him not hosting his press conference?
well, listen, Mark, you know what goes around comes around, man. And we cannot forget, the atrocities that this individual that you have on screen here would have committed against the people of Guyana, man. And I am not surprised with what's happening here. I know it was just time before this starts to occur. And listen, this here, right? What's going on here is the start of the collapse. This government will not survive, Mark. This government, it would not and it cannot survive. Okay, they've done too much. It's just too much. Look, the negative outweighs the positive by such a margin. Like I can't even see anything positive in what these people are doing. I think Priya Manichan had come out with this thing where she wanted adults to kind of go back to school and try to get themselves on track. And I was looking at that as a positive mark. But then, when I look deeper into it, I said, what are they going back to school to educate themselves for? There's no jobs out there for them. We can't ask people to be educated, Mark, if we don't have jobs for them. So listen, what's going on here with Barry Jack there? He would have looked for it. And look, it's just not him, Mark. Roger Luncheon is in very bad health also, Mark. These guys, and I hope the younger ones are looking on and seeing what's going on here. Okay, payback is something else. Payback is something else. All that mansion and everything that was built out there at Pradoville, trust me, in a couple of years, that's going to be government buildings. Okay? Because it belongs to the
You
people.
take it and you make it into a technical institute or something like that.
It belongs to the people, Mark.
Absolutely.
It belongs to the people.
And whatever his sickness is, they certainly don't want to reveal it. but they might just prop him up tomorrow for him to take a walkabout, knowing that he's very much in pain. But it is what it is. If he kicks the bucket, it is what it is. Ashton Chase passed away. The senior party member passed away the other day. And usually, when those things happen, one, two, three, or four follow thereafter. Who knows? Maybe luncheon. Who knows? We're not calling death on anybody. We don't do that here. But we're talking about what is usually a trend in these things. What else? What else is happening in Guyana? We hear a lot about the monkeypox, and when I say monkeypox, I really do mean monkeypox is in Guyana. And these guys, as we talking about monkeypox, and I noticed the operator just put this guy's photo up there right at the time I say monkeypox. The health ministry have not. They have the folks at the health ministry. They have not been doing much to actually go around the country to educate people about monkeypox and so forth and what is happening. And the same thing that they did with regards to COVID-19 and so forth. They are failing the nation. This guy on the screen, they are failing the nation in the area now, with this dreaded disease, monkeypox. And you see the photo that I have on the screen there, monkeypox. They are failing the nation. I know this is reminiscent, Mr. Caesar, as to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Correct.
Worried should Guyanese be about this monkeypox?
Well, listen, Mark, when you have something like monkeypox, in your country, you have to be worried. Okay? Look, our health systems, they need propping up, man. They need major propping up. Okay, so when you have something like that in the country, you have to worry because Guyanese people are always in close contact, and it doesn't matter which country it is. People are always in close contact, and one can be, infected with this virus. So you have to be worried, and to know that our healthcare system is where it is for an oil-producing nation. Yes, I would be extremely worried about sending children to school and children coming into contact with each other. You have to worry. And it's sad, that, you know, it's such a burden on Guyanese parents. You send your child to school, you don't know what tragedy can occur at school. Now you have to deal with an additional, threat with this monkeypox. So listen, Mark, we gotta have change in Guyana. And I just want to touch on a point that because I was watching the show last night and I saw you were, kind of yourself and Miss Washington was doing some analysis on Irfan Ali at the press conference that he had there. And he said that he had the interest of young people, children in Guyana, and women. Is this guy crazy? Did he smoke before he did that press conference? Where have Irfan Ali had the interest of children and women in Guyana? Show me that body of work, Mark. These guys get on press conferences and talk a bundle of garbage. They tell a bundle of lies. All the PPP has ever done for children, Mark, is to shatter their dreams. And young adults, they have shattered thousands of dreams in Guyana. You know how many lawyers and accountants and scientists and all these never get to really, see their dreams come to fruition because of this oppressive dictatorship, racist government, because that's what they are. Mark, you see the ethnicity. Listen, I'm not a person in the whole race game, but when I see something, I have to call it. I'm not gonna let anything go. The guy we found in Brazil, Mark, that was dealing with the gold smuggling, Indo-Guyanese. Not putting on my Indo-Guyanese brothers and sisters. The guy who wants to buy the Marriott Hotel, Indo-Guyanese. Come on, Mark. This thing is obvious. This thing is obvious.
And most 90 99% of those scumbags who are wanted by US law enforcement agencies are Indo-Guyanese. And that is why those corrupt ones who are wanted for assassinations, they're wanted for terrorism, they're wanted for money laundering, gold smuggling, drug lords, and so forth who are wanted, majority of them are of Indian Guyanese descent. And we're just painting that picture to show how this regime and why this regime do not want to sign that extradition to send those guys packing to the US. But they're going to send like a big head. They're going to send like check the 3 or 4 guys who were extradited. Some guy named Det, then Big Head, and then this. But they're not going to send their friends who are the drug lords and who are the money launderers, the biggest ones in the country. They're not sending them. They're not signing that extradition list for them. They're not signing it, and the PPP knows who those guys are. But because of how corrupt the PPP is, U.S. law enforcement agencies are reluctant to hand over an extradition request because once it reaches at the desk of at the Ministry of Home Affairs, the money launderer, the drug lord is going to hear. Once it reaches at the desk of the Attorney General, the bad guys are going to hear. And that is exactly what's happening in Guyana right now. We don't want someone to mistake or misinterpret what we're saying when we talk about monkey and monkeypox. Because in talking about monkeypox, we have this guy here, Fanali, on the screen. We do not want anyone to report us to the ERC. So we are going to remove his photograph because, again, we do not want people to think that we are calling him a monkey whilst talking about monkeypox. It's just that his photo is sitting there while we talk about monkeypox and other serious stuff happening in Guyana. Right now, Mr. Caesar, they have serious infighting in the PPP. Serious infighting, power grab. Some of them are fighting to have Congress held this year in the PPP. Jack Deere doesn't want Congress to be held because the last time they had Congress was 2016. But yet this is a so-called political party, loves to jump on the mountaintop to talk about democracy and all manner of things when they don't even practice what they preach. There's no democracy in the PPP. They're fighting up right now for the replacement of Dharamlal. They're fighting up for him to be replaced as the as a minister of local government. They're fighting up to have him replaced as the MP, and they're also fighting up whether he should resign or not. And that is why also that has contributed towards Jaggier's quote-unquote sickness and the fact that he hasn't turned up at the press conference today, and the fact that Irfan Ali wants to reshuffle his cabinet. He wants to use this opportunity to do so. And so they have serious fighting right now in the PVPC regime. So much so that they're going to pull guns on each other. Even while they're prepared to send off Ashton Chase, who died recently. And this guy, Roger Luncheon, is in the ICU. Who knows? Now, we don't call it death on people here, but people have been in the ICU and made it out. I don't know. Ashton Chase, usually they say when you go, you carry 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5. What is your take on this in-house fighting in the PVPC, sir?
You know, Mark, I'm going to tell you this. This in-house fighting has just started a little too late here. But I could understand the in-house fighting based on what the knowledge that I would have just gotten from you, that Mr. Jagdeo is not all that well. You know, I've heard little ramblings before, you know, but now, you know, I'm hearing it that, you know, he's not well. So if the leader, the dictator of the party is not well, then everybody's going to start fighting and positioning themselves for position. So this is what's going on right now in the party. But it's just a little bit too late, you know. The Guyanese people would have dealt with 23 years of what the PPP gives. Okay, so Irfan Ali could reshuffle, he could do whatever it is that he wants to do. Okay, the PPP time is up. Nobody wants them. So they can keep pulling guns on each other. Listen, with what they do to what they have done to the Guyanese people, what goes wrong comes around, and karma is something, and I always knew at some point that there was going to be infighting and they would start fighting each other and possibly, end up killing each other, but let them try with that. We are focused on the Guyanese people here. They're the ones who would have marginalized and oppressed the people. So I don't really care what they do to each other at this point, Mark. They can do whatever they want to each other. I don't care. I'm
I
focused
don't
on the
care
people of
either.
Guyana.
All we can say is Sandy's Tech One or Likens Tech One or whatever. We don't care because these guys have done so much wrong to the people of Guyana. So much wrong to the people of Guyana. I don't know what to say, but they've got to go. They're fighting. Don't be surprised if you hear that there's a so-called cabinet reshuffle by this weekend, a replacement of Dharamlal by Monday or by this weekend, um, and these sort of things. Don't be surprised at these things. They don't want it. They're fighting right now. They don't want people to know. They're terrible right now. And now is the time to make the move for a no confidence motion against them. Now is the time to make that move because they're not together. They're fighting. They want to kill each other. All manner of things. And Irfan Ali wants to take control. Jack Day wants to pretend as though he's the president. And they're fighting and fighting and fighting. And I say, let them fight. When they start the fighting amongst each other, the gunshots and the chopping up, we will carry it live right here on 107.1 FM. We can't wait to carry it live, Mr. Caesar.
Yeah, live indeed, Mark. I would love to be the analyst when they're doing that. Listen, as Guyanese, I would say to the people now, let's start preparing ourselves. You know, the people need to go into deep thought as to what they want their country to look like. You know, don't put it all on government. I think people also are responsible for shaping, you know, what the nation looks like. And the PPP have done an excellent job of trying to make Guyana as lawless as possible. And we intend to change that because Guyana is a very good country and so is its people. So, Mark, with this whole infighting and with all the stuff that's going on in the PPP, we just want to focus on what we have to do. And the opposition, need to stay in their lanes and they need to have a strategy. You don't wait until elections to have a strategy. You have to have a strategy going into elections. And we still have a lot of work to do. I haven't heard, anyone or see anyone in front of GCOM protesting about that list. We haven't, Mark, heard from our GCOM commissioners in a very, very long time. We need to get updates from these people. Everybody just goes quiet. You have a little Sherrod Duncan here and you have, straight up, and that's what keeps, the fire lit, Mark. Everybody's up and about and then it just goes down quietly. And I still have to give credit to Apostle London and the ladies for coming out and protesting. But we need to be consistent with our protests. This government must not be allowed to settle, Mark. And Darmlal needs to be at Camp Street. He doesn't need to be home sleeping in a proper bed when the night comes. If you ask me, he needs to be at Mazaruni. Okay? So, listen, we cannot let go. We have to continue to be frontal with these people. We got to continue to check this government. Barrett Jagdeo might be sick. So he's wicked enough, Mark, knowing that he's sick, he's going to make decisions that's going to hurt Guyana.
That's
It's going to
another issue.
hurt
Yeah.
Guyana. That's why he's rushing to try to sell off the Marriott and do all these things. How can you take something that belongs to the people and sell it without proper consultation, without their permission? You took their tax dollars and you build that. You could have taken that money and just, give a refund to everybody in Guyana as
They're
much
not
as it could.
concerned. They're not concerned about that, Mr. Caesar. They're concerned about stealing, 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 and as we say, thief, thief, thief. There are a bunch of thief men and women in the PPP hierarchy. They are stealing the monies every single day. They are a bunch of corrupt vagabonds. They do not care about the ordinary man, whether it's the ordinary East Indian, African, Chinese, Portuguese, whatever, our indigenous brothers and sisters. They just do not give a damn. And right now, Priya Manikchan is not getting much traction. Watch what's going to happen within the next. And let me take this time out to say, you have embarked on a project, and you are our leader in this project, this back to school project. And I want our listeners to know that Wayne Caesar is leading this project. The back to school project, we want a couple hundred of book bags and so forth. We are almost there. And these items will be distributed to Guyana, to those who are in need. And I say publicly, thanks for lots of work you're doing behind the scene. I know you will be busy this weekend as well. Kudos to you. I'm just basically in the back seat, basically assisting here and there. But the real person behind that is Wayne Caesar.
Mark,
But they're go ahead.
Mark, they got a saying, right? Don't talk about it, be about it. I don't just come on this show and I just don't want to just speak to the Guyanese people. No. I want to give a lending hand to all those who I can give a lending hand to. Listen, we all have a part to play in the development of our country. And while I'm at it, I want to give a big call out to Miss Brenda Casey. I hope she's watching. She's like a second mother to me. Miss Casey, thank you for all your contributions. I hope you're looking. And we have so many other people who are trying to come in and trying to give a lending hand and help our children, that they can have a book bag and a few notebooks and their pencils and eraser, and they are prepared for school. You can't go to school unprepared. A child cannot be successful in school, Mark, if he or she is unprepared. The government is not doing it. We just can't keep talking about what the government, is not doing. I feel like if we needed to do something about it, and that's what we intend to do.
Absolutely.
And also to go along with that, we're sponsoring 3 students to the University of Guyana for a full year. So, guys, send out your emails, send out your applications to Mark. He's gonna be vetting and working through all that stuff. We hope that in time that we're able to do more. And I hope that the government is looking at this, because university should be free. We shouldn't have to be sponsoring our people in Guyana to university. This should be something that is free. But listen, the government would have broken so many dreams. I know what it is, to go to university and to be successful. It's a good thing. It makes you feel good about yourself. It's an achievement, you know. And I was able to do that. And many others on this platform was able to do that. And they know, and each one of you guys know how you feel about it. And I would like everyone to have that opportunity. That's why we're doing what we're doing here. So at
Well said.
107.1 FM, we don't just talk about it, we be about it. Over to you, Mark.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. And those of you who want to be part of this back to school drive, we're not asking you for no money, to send us any money, not at all. If you can present a couple of books, notebooks, pencils, pens, whatever, we will have a couple of our guys in Brooklyn this weekend to collect. So specifically, if you're in Brooklyn, let us know, inbox me or inbox Wayne, well, it's Wayne's project, so you can inbox Wayne mostly. I have hundreds of emails to deal with the scholarship stuff, and for some of you who have emailed me about your scholarship possibility, I haven't been able to open all of the emails as yet. So it's a heck of a lot of work. But we will get around to that. We have started responding to a couple of those emails. But if you have, and we got a message from sorry, from Francine Cruz. Francine says here that she is donating 20 book bags with school items inside, and a couple other members at the nursing home will also donate. So we want to publicly thank you, Francine, for that. And Mr. Caesar will get in touch with you guys to uplift those items. When we're looking at the time, I know you've had a busy day also, because outside of that, you work very hard. You're also a family man. Um, and I want to take that into consideration. It's been a pretty hectic day for me as well. And so we don't want to just give the people an extra half hour. We'll just give them an extra few minutes more. Is there anything else that's happening in Guyana that is of serious concern to you that you want to address to our audience? Go right ahead, sir.
Well, listen, Mark, one of the things that's a serious concern to me, again, it's the Guyana Elections Commission and their posture towards the people of Guyana. Um, I feel like if there need to be changes there, I don't know how we can work to get those changes instituted, but to see that we are not protesting this body, we're not protesting against them. They are they're acting just like the government. They just feel like if they can do whatever they want to do, they can make whatever decisions they want to make. And to know that the opposition have people sitting there and they are just, basically allowing these people, because I have to call it allowed, because had I been sitting in there, I would have run out hollering and screaming to get my people to come and let's protest these people.
Wayne, if I can pause you for a moment, and this comment caught my attention. This comment caught my attention from Vishal Churman. Vishal is saying Guyana borrowing loans with oils. Now, you get billions, and thank you so much, Vishal, for that comment. You get billions upon billions of dollars of oil revenue, and you have these pakus, these nimakarams, these katahars in the PPP regime. They're going around borrowing money. And on top of that, they have to repay these loans. And we have billions of dollars at our disposal. Oil revenue alone. Sorry about that, Mr. Caesar. I just had to comment on
Well,
that.
well, 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 Mark, you know what? Since you want to talk about money and you want to talk about finances, okay, so I'm game to that. All right. And the person was correct who would have just made that post. He's 100% correct. We should not be in a borrowing position right now. Okay? We should actually be able to lend money to other countries that's, like a Haiti or a country like that that's looking to borrow money.
No, Irfan
And
Ali,
they're
they're
not,
not going to want to loan anything to Haiti. They're not going to
we
even
know,
want to send a pot of cocoa or a pot of dal or roti to Haiti. That's how much they hate Haitians.
well, Mark, I was speaking like if it's an unbiased government, a government that's unbiased in nature. We know what type of government we're dealing with here, right? We should not be borrowing money. Any money we borrowing should be from ourselves. But they would have went in to the resource fund and would have borrowed so much already. And Mark, when the thing about it, when the PPP borrows these monies, we are not seeing where the money is going. That's the concern. And I don't listen. The Guyanese people have to get out of the posture of just sitting down there and watching these guys borrow all over the place, because you guys are gonna have to pay. And what I've been saying, Mark, and I've been saying it to a lot of the large mega businesses that are trying to come into Guyana and invest. You're not investing with a government. This is not a government. Mark, a government never put business before their people. This is a business, this is a business, criminal business organization here. Okay? They are strictly businessmen. It has
Absolutely.
nothing to do with the Guyanese people. Absolutely nothing.
You know,
Okay? So,
I, I noticed a comment from Tony Hack saying you're learning from Glenlaw News now. We've been talking about the oil revenue and the mismanagement of the oil revenue way before this, Tony Hack, way before this. But this doesn't mean that we shouldn't give some credit to Glenn Lal for what Glenn Lal is doing, talking about it now. But we've been talking about the oil revenue, the mismanagement of the oil revenue for a while now. And this didn't start just over Exxon. Remember, the PPP gave a whole deal to another company over there. I mean, to look for oil in the Suriname Guyana border area. You know that oil company from Canada and so forth and so on. So this is nothing new for us, and we understand, but we are not making this a one-dimensional kind of thing, right? You can't just talk about oil revenue alone and protest about oil revenue, and people's human rights are being violated every single day. People's constitutional rights are being violated every single day. All of these things go hand in hand, Tony. All of them, my friend, go hand in hand. Sorry again
Mark,
to interrupt you, Mr. Caesar. I
yeah,
will do it again for the
yeah,
rest
but
of the
No, 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 Mark is fine. But if I may, I would also like to respond to Tony Hack. Mark, I don't have the time to look at Glenlaw News. I'll be frank and I'll tell you the truth. There is no time in my schedule to look at Glenlaw News. So what I speak comes off of my head and what I know. Okay? So all right, Mark, like I was saying earlier, we should not be borrowing. Um, the mega businesses should not be investing in Guyana because they're not. Listen, the Guyanese people cannot be held responsible for their return on investment because this government is making reckless decisions. This government is making reckless decisions. We cannot be boring. We listen, we are gaining or we should be gaining revenue from so many different sectors. But for some reason, everyone is just focused on oil. The oil sector is not the only sector that we have in Guyana. And I say this to Jermaine Figueroa when the pack starts meeting, Mark, they really need to go through these line items, really go through it. Our MPs, when they get these reports, they have to go home and they have to sit down and they have to scrutinize these reports, Mark. I am telling you, I am 1,000,000% certain that these reports are not accurate. They are not. The PPP is stealing from the Guyanese people, and they're not stealing in the millions. They're stealing in the billions now. Forget millions. And Mark, I would not be surprised if you see offshore accounts in Dubai and all these places, man. The Guyanese people have got to wake up, man. I know what's going on, Mark. I know about the flow of money. Guyana should be having one of the strongest economies out there. Look at our people. Just look at our people. This is not right. And big delegates from other country, dignitaries from other country, saying that they coming into Guyana meeting with this government. Now, when you hear, Mark, that Irfan Ali wants to reshuffle his cabinet, a stern warning was given. We have to read through the lines here. A stern warning was given. But listen, Mark, it doesn't matter what warning is given to this government and who the heck it comes from. The Guyanese people don't want this government, period. Okay? Outside forces cannot influence who the people and dictate who the Guyanese people should have as a government. That's for the people to dictate. So we got to stand up and we got to stand our ground in Guyana. We are a sovereign nation. I don't care what business deals are being made out there. A government's first responsibility and its first mandate, Mark, is to take care of its people. That's why when Irfan Ali stood up yesterday and said that he has the best interests of women and children, really? If he did, the Granger school buses would have continued. We would have had jobs out there for the women.
Or he would have condemned the stoning of a school bus in Bad Settlement when those thugs were out there, those terrorists were out there doing their thing. He never condemned anything. A nurse was beaten. He never condemned that. School children, their bus was actually stoned. He never condemned that. The dildo comment, he never condemned that.
The rape
Not at
allegation.
all. He
The
doesn't.
rape.
So he is a hypocrite. He is a hypocrite, of course. Hypocrite. That's what he is. Oh, Mr. Caesar, we almost quarter after 10. We've got to go. Your closing remarks, please, sir.
Mark, my closing remarks, I just wanted to take a little stab at the Ethnic Relation Commission. Listen, if you guys are going to be a body, you guys need to be a body that is unbiased. Remember, it's not just about you guys looking at one side and trying to, reel in people that you guys think would have speak, out of line or would have, commit or infringe on the rules that are set forth. But, be fair, because Barra Jagdeo would have put a lot of racist rhetoric out there, and you guys never reeled them in. Okay? The government itself would have marginalized and discriminate against Guyanese that does not support them. Listen, people have a democratic right to vote however they want to vote, to support who they want to support. It's a part of their civil liberties. And this government violates that on a daily basis. Okay, so you guys need to, get it right and, stop singling out people to persecute. Get it right. Okay, I'm not going to sit here, and see you guys doing what you're doing and be scared to speak out. I'm going to always speak out when I see things are wrong. So you would have singled out Mr. Brown and you would have singled out Dr. David Hines. But there's other people also that you should have been singling out. What about when the young guy Imran came out and said that he would poison all the black folks? Did you guys single him out? You guys need to stop doing these type of things. You see, all of you guys, and I don't care what you guys do. The way you guys behave, you all behave like if you're aligned with the PPP, because nobody from the PPP ever gets penalized. So you guys got to get it together, man. Get it together. You got a job on your hand to do. Do it the correct way. All right? Do it the correct way. And Mark, you know what? This Ethnic Relations Commission, once we get a new government in place, we need to address these things. These are all things that needs to be addressed. A country cannot run properly when you have organizations that are biased in nature. We have to be fair. We have to be unbiased. And to the
that can only
Guyanese
happen
people,
when you have a good government. These people
yes,
are no good government. We have this guy, Irfan, also known as hypocrite, that is. And you are correct about the ERC. But one other thing, as quickly as possible, you have nurses, Guyanese nurses, who are being discriminated against. They work extra hours, hours upon hours. You don't raise their pay. You don't attract these young people to get into the profession. You drive them out, completely out. You destroy them. And now Irfan Ali is saying that they are going to import nurses from Cuba. But he's not talking about the hundreds of nurses that are from Bangladesh, that are from Pakistan, that are from India, and now he's going to Cuba. Cuba, they're not paying these nurses, these Guyanese women. Lots of Guyanese women would love to get in, or men too, sorry, to get into nursing and so forth and so on, but they do not pay. How are you now going to ignore your population, your people, and go and import others to come and do a job that you're not paying your own people to do? Shame on this hypocrite. Shame on this hypocrite. Shame on him. Now you're going to import nurses. Next, what are you going to do? Import policemen and women? Next, what are you going to do? Import people? You get billions in oil revenue. Why not increase their salaries and attract the locals to want to join these professions? But they don't have sense. They're a bunch of dunce thugs. Mr. Caesar?
Mark, it would have been, Mark, it would have, trust me on this, Mark. It would have been different. That would have been, all these things that you just said would have been done, Mark. The people would have been educated, they would have been edified, everything would have been fine. The government would have looked after the people. But there's a certain type of people. There's a certain type of people, I'm not even gonna say it, that the government just don't want to look after.
When
Period.
a clown moves into a palace, he doesn't become a king. That clown becomes the palace, and in this case, cabinet, becomes a circus. And that circus is headed by a clown. And that clown is Irfan Ali, whose boss is another clown. And that clown's name is Bharat Jagdeo. So the nation is headed by two clowns, and they are running a circus. That is exactly. When you look at the Kwame McCoy, also known as Lick Lip, and these guys in Parliament, when you look at Priya Manik Chan, when you look at a Dharam Lal, when you look at a Ben and these people, guess what it is? It is a circus. It is a circus that is headed by this clown, also known as hypocrite. I don't know, Mr. Caesar.
But Mark,
yeah.
You know, we just spoke of the nurses. We just spoke on the nurses, which is very, very important. Nurses definitely, Mark, needs to be paid more. But you know what? I think we would have forgotten teachers, man. Teachers are like a third parent. Listen, I speak to a lot of teachers on the ground in Guyana. And they say, Wayne, sometimes we have to buy supplies for our children. We have to do this for our children. We have to do that for our children. These teachers are so passionate. Mark, why can't the government be equally passionate?
What government? They can't be passionate. They're a bunch of thieves. They're a bunch of clowns. And we got to stop, Mr. Caesar, expecting that these clowns are going to be passionate. Do you expect a clown like Irfan Ali to be passionate about a country, to be patriotic about a country? He doesn't care about a country. Jagdeo doesn't care. For 23 years, they destroyed that country. Took away free education at the university level. When they campaigned in 2020, they said they will restore free education at the university level. Over 3+ years they've been in office. Have they revisited that idea? Have they make moves into ensuring that the young people of Guyana have access to free education at the university level? No, they're not concerned about that. They're more concerned about giving hundreds of millions of dollars and billions of dollars to their friends and their cronies in the PPP and in the private sector, the corrupt private sector commission, and all these things. That is what they're doing. Check around where the billions of dollars going. They're not going to Auntie Babita, poor Auntie Babita from Blackbush Polder, or Port Morant, or Manripo, or Lenora. It's not going there. It's not going to Auntie Barbara, not that clung out in New Amsterdam Pilgrim, that picked chicken at Freedom House. Not her. Real people. Wave knee in Belladrum. Oh, is Waveney and those people in Belladrum going to survive? Oh, they are going to survive. Because you have an unpatriotic bunch of people who have rigged their way into office, but yet we continue to say, oh, we hope they will do it. They're not going to do anything good for the nation other than rob the nation. If they spend $250 million on a school, it is because they get kickbacks. It is because it is corrupt. And that is how they make their monies. You build a school, but you're not encouraging kids to go to school. You have a university that is run down. You don't have proper labs. You don't have proper libraries. You don't have proper system in place, but billions of dollars being stolen. $214 million still missing, but the PPP can't account for it. Oil revenue, they can't account for it. I'm just fed up with these kunumunus, this hippo, these clowns in office. But watch what they're going to do soon. They're going to announce that they get a couple of new ambassadors, high commissioner. They're going to try to announce a high commissioner to India. Right now we have in London, a high commissioner has been there acting for the past 3 years. They cannot appoint a new high commissioner to England, to the UK. No, they're not appointing people. I don't know, Mr. Caesar.
Mark,
but watch what's going to come out this weekend. Reshuffling, ambassadors and high commissioners, they're going to start to divert attention right now.
they can do that. They can do whatever they want to do. The people of Guyana need to stay focused and remember what this government gives. Ambassadors and all these people, Mark, they're all living well. Okay? The Guyanese people are not living well. And that's what we intend to change.
But the Guyanese people are living well. They're living well.
Mark.
In the well. They live in well. At the bottom. In 1993, Chetty Jagan went to Canada and said, oh, black folks are at the bottom of the ladder, and he later rushed to correct it and all manner of things. But Guyanese people, all Guyanese people. This thing is not about one race. This is about one people, one nation with one destiny. That's us. That's our motto. All of us. Guyana is a melting pot of everybody. Everybody. And we got to stop this thing now that, you got to put an Indian man ahead the PNC to run or some mixed breed. Them is nonsense, nonsensical thing. You can put a person of African descent ahead a political party or indigenous it doesn't matter the ethnicity of the individual. What matters is policies and plans for a country to build a nation. We got to get away from this stupid, petty, dotish talk about, mixed race, we got to get a mixed race president. It's foolishness. And only retards would want to entertain that. Mr. Caesar, I've got to go, though. I've got to go. Unless, here it is. Take another minute before we go, please. You might get so much that you want to say.
No, Mark. I just want to say to the Guyanese people, we have 6 ethnic groups in Guyana. And listen, you guys gotta just be each
7 ethnic groups, Mr. Caesar. I don't know
it's
where
7 now.
and this is with all due respect. I don't know where you went to school or who was your teacher. Guyana now under the PPPC, we got 7 ethnic groups in Guyana. 7 ethnic groups. Don't leave out the Klongs. The Klong is now an ethnic group. These Klongs belong to a particular ethnic group. They're their own ethnic group of Klongs. These guys are just ruining Guyana, ruining that country, Mr. Caesar. And those of us who are patriotic, those of us who are passionate, it hurts us how these people are destroying our country. August 1st, Wayne Caesar is from Plaisance. August 1st coming up. Do we hear anything about Emancipation Day celebration, that these corrupt people in the PPP regime, that they're doing anything to even prepare for Emancipation Day celebration at the National Park, at Kildonan Village, at Leeds Village? Do we hear that they have given any of taxpayers' money to these African groups? No, but they're going to run out and give a couple $100,000, take a photograph and so forth, and that's it. Are we hearing anything about the preparation of emancipation? Had it not been for the emancipation of slavery, Guyana would not have been a melting pot. And these PPP guys like Irfan and Jagdev, they're a bunch of ungrateful wretches. That is who they are. Nothing we're not hearing about Emancipation Day celebration, August 1st. Nothing at all. But guess what, Mr. Caesar? Guess what, sir? Here's what we're going to do at the Ben Sharp Foundation. On Emancipation Day, through you, we want you guys in Plaisance to ensure that the library is okay, it is good to go, and we are donating 500 reading books to the Library of Plaisance for Emancipation Day, because we've got to emancipate our minds from mental slavery and from the corrupt PPP sort of slavery that is happening. So 500 reading books, textbooks to the Library of Plaisance, our Emancipation Day gift. Compliments of the Ben Sharp Foundation to the Library of Plaisance. So
thank you, Mark. Yep, thank you, Mark. Listen, Mark, what we are looking for, man, we are looking for a new Guyana, man. Okay, we're looking for a new Guyana. Guyana has just been in the doldrums, over the last 23 to 30 years. I know, listen, we had the coalition for a short moment there. It wasn't long. But one thing I could have said, Mark, is that the people were safe. They felt safe. I felt safe traveling to Guyana, But under this regime here, man, it's a whole different thing. It's just violence. It's just lawlessness. Every week somebody's listen, we don't have the population for people to be dying every minute, man. If this continues, we're not going to have people in Guyana. The man is going to really go ahead and import people. So what I want to say to all Guyanese and all the ethnic groups, listen, we market together. We do all these different things together as one people. Let's all be our brothers' keepers, man. This is crunch time. This is really critical, Mark. I feel sometimes people fail to understand what a critical time we're in right now. Our country is definitely at the crossroads here. Okay, and if we are to be successful, we have to work together. It can be Indo-Guyanese or Afro-Guyanese. That's utter nonsense. We all bleed blood. Come on. Mark, come on. One of these guys who be having all this racist stuff, and be talking about all this stuff, Mark. If they have a heart transplant, if the doctor say, hey, you need a heart transplant, and you need it in 3 weeks, and a heart becomes available, you think that person is going to ask, oh, is that a black heart? If it's a black heart, I don't want it. Come on. People need to think here, man. People need to think.
When they ask for blood drive and all these things, how many of these... Well, Guyana, these guys who call themselves racist are not racist because they're black people too. But just putting that aside, though, when they need a blood drive and some racist man sits down, lie down in the bed, some hospital, and he gets that blood. The blood might come from somebody in Buxton who kindly donated that blood. It may come from somebody at Agricola or somewhere in Linden or wherever. But yet you call yourself a racist and you're taking blood given by, I don't know, Mr. Caesar.
And Mark,
From this race thing.
yeah, Mark, and it could be the other way. It could be blood from
Yeah,
somebody
exactly.
at LBI or you know, or somewhere else, you know. So listen, man. Listen, we're all human beings here. We all have a shelf life, man. So while we are here, man, let's do the best that we can do, man. Let's live good with each other. Listen, we know the installed government that we have, but we don't have to practice that lawlessness. Change is coming. Change is coming. There's no way that they can keep this government in place. Change is definitely coming.
And as we close off, the better tech warning.
Better
tech warning. Mr. Caesar, thank you so much for all that you do. Thank you for taking time out of being here. We will be back tomorrow. Lincoln Lewis and others are going to be on. Lincoln Lewis is going to be on with us tomorrow evening, right here on 107.1 FM. Mr. Caesar, again, thank you so much, sir. Have a great
Thank you, Mark. Good night, everyone. Good night.
Yeah. And don't forget, they got that back to school drive. Wayne is going to be in Brooklyn this weekend. You can inbox him, Wayne Caesar. Wayne Caesar on Facebook. Inbox him if you have any books, if you have any pencils or whatever. Just inbox Mr. Wayne Caesar. We will get it done and get those books and bags and everything down to Guyana for the people. Thank you so much. Wayne, have a good night again.
Good night, Mark.
And to all of our listeners, too, God bless you. Have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow, same place, same time, right here on 107.1 FM. Again, guys, thank you so much for your time. Dolly Jones, thank you so much. Bernadette James, thank you so much. So True Hector, and all of you guys. I may not be able to call all of your names, Riri, Keith, and everybody. Good evening to all of you. Tony Hack and everybody. God bless you all. Thanks as always. And watch the domino effect of the PPP. They're crumbling. They're going to have this reshuffle. They're going to have some replacement of Dharamlal soon. You're going to hear that. You're going to hear some ambassador and high commission announcements, all manner of things. You're going to hear some that announcements too. Shh. You can't say you heard it here first, right? You can't say you didn't hear it here first. Charlene Jordan, folks in Brooklyn, just do whatever that's necessary. I love you guys. God bless you. And this is a message to the clowns in the PPP regime. Those clowns, that's who they are. I'm out of here.
Take warning, you better take warning. Take warning, you better do good. Let your light shine bright, let your light shine right. Respect your fellow man as you should. Take warning, you better take warning. Take warning, you better do good. Let your light shine bright, let your light shine right. Respect your fellow man as you should. The evil that men do lives after them. The evil that men do lives after them. Your evil today will blight your tomorrow. So do good today and avoid your sorrow. Take warning, you better take warning. Take warning, you better do good. Let your light shine bright, let your light shine right. Respect your fellow man as you should. Take warning. You better take warning. Take warning. You better do good. Let your light shine bright. Let your light shine bright. Respect your fellow man as you should. The evil that men do lives after them. The evil that men do lives after them. Your evil today will blight your tomorrow. So do good today and avoid your sorrow. Take the message, everybody. Take warning. You better take warning. Take warning. You better take warning. Take warning. You better do good. Let your light shine bright. Let your light shine bright. Respect your fellow man as you should. Take warning. You better take warning. Take warning. You better do good. Let your light shine bright. Let your light shine bright. Respect your fellow man as you should. The evil that men do lives after them. The evil that men do lives after them. Your evil.
This is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington law firm located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
With another one, straight up, Black Messiah. Aye, who tell the truth? Margaret stop, defend the ghetto youth. Margaret stop, registration is the fruit. Margaret stop, straight up from the root. Margaret stop, who tell the truth? Margaret stop, defend the ghetto youth. Margaret stop, registration is the fruit. Margaret stop, straight up from the root. Margaret stop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, and stop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can need it, don't contact the crip can walk. Who tell the truth? Margaret stop, defend the ghetto youth. Margaret stop, registration is the truth. Margaret stop, straight up from the root.